are in a war. You may not hear the gunfire, you may not see the enemy. You are sitting in a quiet room, perhaps with a cup of coffee, staring at a screen. But make no mistake, if you are a trader, an entrepreneur, a leader, you are in a high-stakes conflict every single day. But this war is not against the market, it's not against your competitors, it's not even against the algorithm. The war is against your own biology. Every time you watch a position move against you, that tightening in your chest, that's a 2-million-year-old threat response. Every time you feel the euphoric rush of a massive win and the urge to let it ride, that's your dopamine system hijacking your rational mind. When you feel the panic of missing out as a stock moons without you, that is primal herd-based anxiety. Fear, greed, ego, hope, despair. These are not modern emotions. They are the ancient, hardwired impulses of a survival machine, a machine that was designed to hunt, to gather, to flee from predators, not to manage a complex portfolio or navigate a quarterly earnings call. We live in an age of technological gods. We have strategies built by PhDs, algorithms that trade in nanoseconds, and global connectivity that beams data to us instantly. Our strategies are modern, but our minds are ancient. And that is the fundamental mismatch of the modern professional. We are trying to win a 21st century game using Stone Age psychology. This is why the trader, flush with brilliant analysis, freezes at the critical moment, a victim of analysis paralysis. It's why the CEO, blinded by ego after a string of successes, makes a catastrophic, unforced acquisition. It's why 90% of traders fail, not because their charts were wrong, but because their internal compass was broken. They become slaves to their own emotions. We've been told the answer is more data, more strategies, faster execution, a new indicator, a new productivity hack. But what if the answer isn't more? What if the answer is different? What if the solution wasn't invented yesterday in Silicon Valley, but 2,000 years ago in the heart of the Roman Empire? What if you could install a new operating system for your mind? An operating system designed not to eliminate emotion, but to neutralize its power over you. An OS built for resilience, for clarity, and for unwavering rational action in the face of chaos. This operating system exists. It has been battle-tested by emperors, generals, playwrights, prisoners of war, and modern high performers. It is called Stoicism. And it is not the stiff upper lip or the emotionless gray caricature you might imagine. That is a misunderstanding. True Stoicism is a vibrant, practical, and powerful toolkit for mastering your inner world, so you can conquer the outer one. It's not about feeling nothing. It's about not being ruled by what you feel. This is not a philosophy lesson. This is a survival guide. This is the unspoken secret weapon that separates the professional from the amateur, the resilient from the broken. This is how you win the real war.
We are about to deconstruct this entire ancient toolkit, piece by piece, and build an actionable plan for your modern life. If this is the kind of deep, practical philosophy for high performance you've been missing, do one critical thing for yourself and for us. Take 1 second to hit that subscribe button. We are building a community dedicated to rational, resilient, and effective thinking. Don't just watch the journey. Join us on it.
To understand Stoicism is to understand its core tools. It's not a collection of quotes to post online. It's a series of profound mental models. And the first one is, quite simply, the most important idea you will ever encounter. It's called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a man born a slave who became one of Rome's most influential teachers, put it this way: some things are within our control, and some things are not within our control. Within our control are our opinions, aspirations, desires, and aversions. Not within our control are our bodies, our property, our reputation, or our public office. Let's translate this for the 21st century battlefield. What is not in your control as a trader? The market. Whether a stock goes up, down, or sideways. A sudden news event. An analyst upgrade or downgrade. The Federal Reserve's next move. What smart money is doing. Whether your flawless setup works this one time. What is not in your control as an entrepreneur? The economy. Your competitor's next product launch, a global supply chain disruption, a customer's sudden change of heart, the virality of your marketing campaign. We spent 99% of our emotional and mental energy, our anxiety, our fear, our hope, our rage, on this list. We are screaming at the rain. We are trying to mentally will the dice to land on a 6. It is, by definition, insanity. The Stoic, however, relentlessly, surgically, focuses on the other list. What is in your control? Epictetus says your opinions, your aspirations, your desires. In modern terms, your process. As a trader, you can control your research, your trading plan, the risk parameters you set, when you enter a trade, where you place your stop loss, when you take profit, and, most critically, your reaction when a trade goes against you. As a business leader, you can control your product quality, your customer service, the culture you build, your strategic plan, your integrity, your response to a competitor's move. This is the Holy Grail. This is the on-off switch for 90% of your anxiety. Think of it. A trader stares at a position bleeding red. The amateur, the slave to emotion, begins to panic. It has to come back. Maybe I should move my stop loss. Maybe I should average down. He is bargaining with reality. He is trying to control the uncontrollable market. The Stoic trader feels the same jolt of fear. They are human after all, but their operating system kicks in. They ask the question, what is in my control right now? The market's direction is not. The execution of my predefined plan is. My plan says, if price hits X, I exit. No questions, no negotiation. The market did not stop him out. He executed his plan. He took control of the one thing he could. The result of the trade is irrelevant. The adherence to the process is the victory. This is a complete revolution in thinking. The amateur judges themselves by their P&L. The Stoic professional judges themselves by their process. This separation is freedom. It means you can have a losing day, a losing week, a losing month, and still be a successful Stoic practitioner because you followed your rules, you controlled your impulses, and you acted with discipline. And over the long run, the person who masters their process is the person who wins. The market always crushes the person who relies on hope, fear, and luck. The dichotomy of control is your first, most powerful weapon. It draws a bright line in the sand of reality, and it tells you exactly where to focus your precious, finite energy. Everything outside that line is just noise.
The second pillar is for the moments when the uncontrollable crashes into your life. It's for the black swan event, the 50-to-1 long shot that fails, the product launch that lands to the sound of crickets, the brutal, devastating, portfolio-crushing loss. The amateur response is, "Why me? This is a disaster. This is the end." The Stoic response is built on two concepts, amor fati and the obstacle is the way. Amor fati is a Latin phrase championed by Nietzsche but deeply Stoic in its DNA. It means a love of one's fate. This is not a passive acceptance. It is not grin and bear it. It is an active, affirmative, joyful embrace of reality in all its forms. It is the belief that everything that happens happens for a reason, and that reason is to make you stronger, to teach you something. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wrote his private Stoic journal Meditations while running a military campaign, said it best. The fire's nature is to flame up. It turns whatever is thrown into it into flame and brightness. A massive trading loss is thrown at you. What do? The amateur is consumed by it. They rage, they despair, they revenge trade to win it back, and they blow up their account. The fire goes out. The Stoic sees the loss. They feel the sting, but they say amor fati. They say, this too is fuel. This loss is not bad. It is an event. It is a piece of data. It is a very, very expensive tuition payment. What did it teach me? Did I over-leverage? Fuel for my risk management plan. Did I ignore my stop-loss? Fuel for my discipline. Was my analysis flawed? Fuel for my research process. This obstacle, this disaster, is not blocking the path. It is the path. This is the central thesis of the modern Stoic classic, The Obstacle is the Way. The market will hand you brutal, humbling losses. Your business will face company-ending crises. That is a guarantee. The Stoic doesn't pray for a smooth sea. They pray to become a better sailor. When a CEO faces a total supply chain collapse, their competitor panics and blames the world. The Stoic CEO says, "Good. This obstacle forces us to do what we should have done years ago. Diversify our suppliers and innovate our logistics. This crisis is an opportunity." They turn the poison into medicine. They turn the obstacle into an advantage. This is the alchemy of the Stoic mind. It takes the very worst things the world can throw at it, a market crash, a failed business, a personal loss, and it reframes them. It doesn't deny the pain. It uses the pain. It asks, this has happened. It is outside my control. What is in my control? My response, my attitude, my ability to learn from it, my ability to find the opportunity hidden inside this mess. When you can truly, deeply internalize this, you become unstoppable. Because there is no such thing as a bad event anymore. There are only events, and your virtuous, intelligent, and strategic response to them. You have turned the tables on reality itself.
If amor fati is the shield you use after disaster strikes, the third pillar is the armor you build before the battle even begins. It's called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This sounds dark, but it is one of the most powerful and practical tools for building psychological resilience. Seneca, a statesman and one of Stoicism's greatest writers, put it this way: what is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect. This is why the wise man accustoms himself to coming troubles, lightly mapping out in his mind whatever happens, he has always known it might happen. This is not pessimism, it is strategic immunization. The modern world runs on toxic optimism. Think positive. It will all work out. Don't even think about failure. The Stoic calls this what it is: dangerous delusion. Hope is not a strategy. The Stoic, in contrast, sits down in the quiet of the morning and deliberately, calmly, imagines things going horribly wrong. The trader, before putting on a high-conviction trade, practices Premeditatio Malorum. Okay, I love this setup. Now, what if I'm completely wrong? What if a headline hits and this stock gaps down 50% at the open? What if it goes to zero? The amateur recoils. Don't jinx it. The Stoic leans in. If it gaps down 50%, my stop loss is useless. My position sizing will wipe out 30% of my account. That is an unacceptable risk. The feeling of that future loss hits him. It's painful, but he's feeling it now when the stakes are zero, not in the heat of the moment. Okay, he decides, I will reduce my position size by half, and I will buy a cheap out-of-the-money put option to define my maximum loss. Do you see what happened? By imagining the evil, he stripped it of its power. He took its fangs out. He neutralized the shock. Shock and panic are what killed traders, not the loss itself, but the unexpected loss. The Stoic is never shocked. The entrepreneur preparing a major product launch practices Premeditatio Malorum. What if our servers crash? What if our biggest competitor launches a rival product on the same day? What if our key spokesperson gets sick? By visiting these futures, she can build contingency plans. We will load test the servers to 300% capacity. We will have our secondary marketing campaign ready to deploy. We will train a backup spokesperson. When the disaster strikes, the rest of the team panics. She remains calm, not because she is a robot, but because she has already lived this moment in her mind. She has a plan. This is the essence of building anti-fragility. Premeditatio Malorum is the psychological equivalent of a vaccine. You inject a small controlled dose of the evil, of the fear, the loss, the failure, in a safe environment. Your mind builds antibodies. When the real virus of chaos arrives, you are immune. The non-Stoic world is full of fragile people, built on a foundation of hope and blind optimism. One crack and they shatter. The Stoic is anti-fragile. The winds of chaos hit them, and they not only stand, they get stronger. Practice this. Before your next big trade, your next big meeting, ask the question, what is the worst that can happen? And then, instead of running from the answer, look it square in the eye and make a plan.
There is a fourth pillar, a tool designed to combat the most insidious enemies on the battlefield, ego and greed. It's for the moment after the big win. You've just had a 10-to-1 trade. Your company just closed a massive Series B funding round. You are, in a word, a genius. You feel invincible. You feel like you've solved the market. You are the king. This is, without exception, the most dangerous moment in your career. This is when the genius makes the dumbest mistake of their life. This is when they double their size on the next trade, break all their rules, and give everything back and more. This is when the CEO, flush with cash, makes a disastrous vanity acquisition, driven by hubris. Ego, fueled by success, is the precursor to catastrophe. The Stoics knew this, and Marcus Aurelius gave us the antidote. He called it the view from above. In his Meditations, he writes, "Survey the countless human herds, the myriad solemnities, the shipwrecks, the disasters. Think too of the life of long ago, and of the life that will come after, and that in the barbarian nations too, how many have never even heard your name, and how many will soon forget it." It is a mental exercise, a visualization. In your moment of triumph, you zoom out. You, the trading genius, are sitting at your desk. Zoom out. See the street, the city, the state. Zoom out. See the continent, the blue-green planet spinning in silence. Zoom out. See the solar system, the sun, a small star. Zoom out. See the galaxy, the Milky Way, a swirl of 100 billion suns. Zoom out. See the universe, billions of galaxies stretching into infinity. Now, where are you? Where is your massive win? Where is your genius? It is a speck of dust on a speck of dust. It is a meaningless blip in the cosmic ocean. This is not designed to make you nihilistic. It is designed to make you humble. It is a powerful instant antidote to ego. It reminds you that your win was not just you. It was you plus luck plus circumstance plus 1,000 other factors outside your control. It shrinks your ego back to its proper size. It restores your perspective. And with that perspective restored, you don't go on a hubristic rampage. You don't blow up your account. You say, that was a good trade. The process was followed. Now, what's next? You remain rational. You remain calm. You remain in control. The view from above also works on greed. When you are staring at a massive unrealized profit and the voice in your head screams, more, don't sell, it's going to the moon. You zoom out. You see yourself, a tiny human consumed by a primal impulse. You see this trade in the context of your whole career. You see it in the context of your goals. Is my goal to get every last tick? Or is my goal to execute my plan? The plan says, take profit at this level. The emotion screams. The plan whispers. The view from above quiets the screaming and lets you hear the whisper. You close the trade. You execute the plan. This 4-part toolkit, the dichotomy of control, focus only on what you can control. Amor fati, love your fate and turn obstacles into fuel. Premeditatio Malorum, prepare for chaos to build resilience. The view from above, conquer ego and greed with perspective. This is the Stoic operating system. It is the armor, the shield, and the sword for the modern warrior. But how do we install it? How do we take it from theory to practice?
An operating system is useless if it's not running. This is the how-to. This is how you stop being a student of Stoicism and start being a practitioner. It begins, as all great things do, in the morning. We call this the Stoic morning. Your alarm goes off. What is the first thing you do? The amateur, the slave, grabs their phone. They check the futures market. They check their email. They check social media. Instantly, within seconds of waking, they have flooded their brain with cortisol, with external stimuli, with the uncontrollable. They have handed the keys to their day over to the chaos of the world. They start the day in a reactive posture. The Stoic practitioner starts differently. They wake up, and for the first 10, 15, 30 minutes, the world can wait. This time is for them. This time is for calibration. They sit down, not with a screen, but with a pen and a journal. This is the Stoics' most important tool. They don't write Dear Diary, they train. First, they reinforce the dichotomy of control. They write down their plan for the day, a business meeting, a series of trades, and then they draw the line. What is my intention for this meeting? To get them to sign? That is not in my control. My intention is to present my case with perfect clarity, integrity, and passion. That is in my control. What is my goal for trading today? To make $10,000? That is not in my control. My goal is to follow my trading plan with 100% discipline. That is in my control. They are setting their intentions on process, not outcome. This distinction is everything. Second, they practice Premeditatio Malorum. They write, what challenges might I face today? The market might be choppy and volatile. A key employee might challenge my authority. I might feel the pull of FOMO. And then they write their Stoic response. If the market is choppy, I will reduce my size and wait for high-probability setups. If I am challenged, I will not react defensively. I will listen, seek to understand, and respond with logic. If I feel FOMO, I will name the emotion, take a Stoic pause, and reread my plan. They are preparing for war. They are running simulations. Finally, they might read a single passage from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus. Not as scripture, but as a reminder, a priming of the pump. They start their day proactively. They have built their fortress before the first arrow is fired. Now the battle. The market opens. The meeting begins. This is in-market execution. You have your plan. You are calibrated. And then it happens. A stock you're watching, but isn't part of your plan, explodes upward. The primal voice screams, FOMO, fear of missing out. Get in, you're being left behind, it's free money. The amateur is snatched by this impulse. They abandon their plan, they chase, they buy at the absolute top, just as the early money is selling to them. The Stoic feels the exact same pull. The biology is the same, but the operating system is different. It initiates a program. We call it the Stoic pause. Between the stimulus, the exploding stock, and the response, the clicking the buy button, they create a tiny pocket of space. In that space, they run the code. Identify. Ah, there it is. That is FOMO. That is greed. Simply naming the emotion robs it of its power. You are no longer in the emotion, you are observing it. Analyze. Is this trade part of my plan? No. Apply the pillar. Dichotomy of control. Is this skyrocketing price in my control? No. What is? My adherence to my plan. My plan is my fortress. This impulse is trying to lure me outside the walls. Act. The action is no action. The Stoic closes the chart, they go back to their plan, they wait for their setup. The Stoic pause is your firewall against emotional trading. Now let's take the other scenario. You're in a trade. It goes against you. It hits your stop loss. You take the loss, it stings, and then the stock immediately reverses and flies in your original direction. This is the stop-out hunt. It feels like a personal attack. A new voice, a darker one emerges. Rage. They took my money. I was right. I'm going to get back in, go all in, and get my money back. This is revenge trading. It is the #1 destroyer of accounts. It is pure, unadulterated, account-blowing ego. The Stoic feels the rage, but the pause. Identify. Ah, this is anger. This is my ego wounded. Analyze. The market is not they. The market is an it. It doesn't know who I am, and it doesn't care. It is a machine of probability. My setup failed. That is all. Apply the pillar. Amor fati. This happened. This sting is a lesson. I followed my plan. My stop loss, the one that I set when I was rational, did its job. It protected me from a bigger loss. Act. The action is to walk away. Close the platform for 10 minutes. Go for a walk. Drink a glass of water. Break the emotional circuit. This is not easy. It is work. It is the hardest work you will ever do. It is the real job of a trader. The charts are the easy part. This is the great work. The day is done. The market is closed. The meetings are over. The war is paused. But the work is not finished. The amateur closes his laptop. If he won money, he's a genius. If he lost money, he's a failure. He drowns his sorrows or boasts of his brilliance. His sense of self is tied directly to his P&L. It's a miserable, schizophrenic existence. The Stoic's day ends with one final, critical ritual.
the Stoic evening review. Seneca wrote about this nightly practice. Before sleep, he would review his entire day, asking himself, what fault did I cure today? What failing did I resist? In what way am I better? This is the after-action report for your soul. The Stoic practitioner, journal in hand, asks, where did I fail my philosophy today? When did I let emotion, fear, greed, anger, ego dictate my actions? When did I act according to my plan? When did I violate it? Notice the questions. The questions are not, did I make money? Did I win? Did people like me? Those are outcomes. They are uncontrollable. The review is focused only on what was in his control, his process, his character, his virtue. I felt FOMO on that mid-morning spike, but I took the pause and stuck to my plan. That was a victory. I took a loss on my main trade, and I got angry. I revenge traded and lost more. That was a failure. Why? I let my ego get involved. Tomorrow, when I feel that sting, I will stand up and walk away for 5 minutes. I will not let it rule me. The Stoic decouples their self-worth from the outcome. The amateur who lost $1,000 but followed his plan perfectly is a failure in his own eyes. The Stoic who lost $1,000 but followed his plan perfectly is a success. He acted with virtue and discipline. The Stoic who made $1,000 by chasing a stupid, unplanned trade is a failure. He won by luck, but he weakened his character. He reinforced a bad habit. This nightly review is how you compound wisdom. It ensures that you never, ever repeat the same mistake twice. It guarantees that you end every single day, regardless of P&L, a little bit wiser, a little bit stronger, a little bit more prepared for the war tomorrow. This is the 3-part practice. The morning calibration, the in-battle pause, the evening review. This is how you install the operating system.
Let us be clear. Stoicism is not a path to a life without feeling. That is a popular and deeply wrong misconception. You will still feel the sting of a loss. You will still feel the joy of a hard-earned win. You will still feel fear. You are human. The difference is, those feelings are no longer your master. They are data. They are signals which your rational, trained, stoic mind can observe, analyze, and act on, or not. The amateur is a small, rudderless boat tossed around in the storm of their emotions. The Stoic is the lighthouse, grounded, unwavering. They see the storm, they acknowledge its power, but they are not moved by it. They are a beacon of reason in the chaos. This is the transformation. The amateur seeks alpha in the market. They hunt for an edge. The Stoic is the edge. The new you, the Stoic professional, looks different. They are the trader who takes a brutal loss, closes their platform, and goes to the gym, because their P&L is not their self-worth. They are the CEO who, in the midst of a crisis, is the calmest person in the room, not because they are faking it, but because they have prepared for this and they see the opportunity within the obstacle. They are playing a different game. The amateur is playing for money. The Stoic is playing for freedom. Freedom from anxiety, freedom from the slavery of their own impulses, freedom from the psychological prison of fear and greed. The great irony is that when you stop playing for the money, when you focus only on the process, on your own virtue, on controlling the one thing you can control, the money often follows, because you have become the person, the professional, the force that the market and the world are forced to respect. The journey is not easy. It is a lifetime of work. It is a daily war. But now
You have the weapons. You have the shield of amor fati. You have the armor of Premeditatio Malorum. You have the sword of the dichotomy of control. And you have the perspective of the view from above. The question is no longer, how do I beat the market? The question is, how do I master myself? Because in the end, that is the only war that matters, and it is the only one you can, with certainty, win.
The conversation doesn't end here. We've deconstructed the framework. Now I want to hand it over to you. In the comments below, share the one Stoic principle from this video that resonated with you the most. Is it the dichotomy of control? Is it amor fati? Or the view from above? Let's discuss how we can apply this work together. I'll be reading and replying. Thank you for watching.